Okay, so let's unpack this. For decades, the hearing aid industry has been kind of stuck.
Oh, completely. It's
Yeah.
all clinical aesthetics, medical stigma.
And the marketing, it only ever speaks to a very narrow, older demographic.
Right.
So today, we are deep diving into this really comprehensive strategic blueprint for a company called AKUI.
Hmm.
And the whole concept is designed to take this entrenched market and just completely redefine it as aspirational lifestyle tech.
This isn't just about, a new product launch. This is a category creation play.
It's way bigger than that.
It is. The sources we have lay out a complete end-to-end vision for revolution, not just, incremental change.
Right.
So our mission in this deep dive is to synthesize this whole ecosystem, the physical architecture, the digital strategy, the branding, and crucially, the human capital.
The people.
The people, all to understand exactly how AQI plans to become the, quote, Apple of hearing care.
It's a fascinating attempt to destigmatize hearing maintenance. Just entirely, they're building a whole world around this product.
And what's so fascinating is how they started. They established this core strategic positioning that defines, well, everything that follows. They drew a really hard line in the sand.
And that's where we'll jump in. The central analogy that drives this whole vision is just so stark and frankly brilliant.
It is.
Amplifon is telecom shop. Akui is Apple.
That analogy, it instantly clarifies everything for you, for the listener.
Totally.
So the telecom shop side, that represents the current market leader, Amplifon. It's positioned as, solid, established, traditional, very functional. It's process first, and it focuses primarily on that 60-plus demographic.
And it just inherently has that medical perception.
Exactly. The moment you walk in, you feel like you're there for a medical task.
A necessary chore, not something you want to do.
Right. Whereas AQUI, by adopting that Apple positioning, is the deliberate, strategic opposite.
Yeah, it's a whole different vibe.
It stands for lifestyle, emotion, design-forward aesthetics, and a digital-first mindset.
It's all minimalism, modernity, and it's targeting that often neglected 20 to 60 age range.
And that's the fundamental goal, to shift the product from being seen as this signifier of a disability to being a desirable style statement, a piece of premium wearable tech.
But strategically, why is that 20 to 60 age range so important right now? I mean, it seems like a massive leap to just ignore the established customer base.
It's a calculated bet. It's a bet on future growth and really on reducing stigma.
Okay.
The sources point out that because of modern life, think loud headphones, concerts, just urban noise people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s have measurable hearing loss.
But they're completely alienated by the current market.
Completely. It only speaks to seniors both visually and emotionally.
So AQI is basically targeting this massive unserved demand, people who might need help, but they just refuse to engage with the current clinical model.
Exactly. The vision is a world where people treat hearing maintenance just as naturally as they do eye care.
Or fitness tracking.
Or buying a new set of premium wireless earbuds. And the core promise really captures this simplicity. Simplify your hearing. Simplify your life.
It's a promise that's all about clarity, reducing complexity, and just making life easier through tech.
Right.
But this entire shift, it relies on convincing the customer that this is not a medical device.
Right.
It's high-end daily tech, like a smartwatch. And if you're making that claim, the physical retail experience has to back it up.
Absolutely. The physical store is a crucial piece of the puzzle here, designed explicitly to break that clinical mold.
And the blueprint details a combination of two really interesting architectural inspirations.
Yeah, and the inspirations themselves tell the whole story.
It's the open, futuristic spaces of Dubai's Museum of the Future, blended with the product-focused efficiency of a flagship Apple store.
The result is an aesthetic that's minimalist, clean, and futuristic. It's a deliberate effort to avoid any suggestion of a doctor's waiting room.
And they use this really specific, high-tech color palette.
They do. Aquamarine dark blue, which is meant to convey, trust, depth, and calm.
And then there's magenta.
Right, magenta, which serves as this technological accent color. It injects energy and modernity.
Okay, that sounds really intentional, but it also sounds kind of stark. I mean, does blending a sci-fi museum and an Apple store risk looking cold or impersonal?
That's a critical question.
Because it seems like it could contradict that need for a human touch.
And the source material really emphasizes that. While the architecture is high-tech, the flow is designed to maximize human comfort. The hearables, notice they never say hearing aids.
Right.
They're displayed on these minimalist pedestals, like high-end art or jewelry.
A museum-like presentation for technology. I get that.
But the space ensures interaction is welcoming. The central reception desk, for example, might be this striking, luminous cylinder with digital data displays.
Yeah.
Very high-tech.
But they also incorporate really comfortable lounge zones and dedicated consultation areas.
So it's not all cold surfaces and screens?
No, it's described as blending a high-tech office with the sleek design of an Apple store. The physical space is a showcase for the tech, but the lounge zones prioritize personal, low-pressure conversations.
So the architecture gets you in the door, but the human element is what guides the actual transaction. And I'm guessing even in those consultation areas, the digital ecosystem is still playing a huge role.
Oh, for sure. We're talking about immersive touchpoints, using augmented reality or tablets for product explanations, demo hearing tests.
It's physical and digital just working seamlessly together.
Precisely. Which brings us to the third pillar. If the physical store is the stage, then the digital ecosystem is the beating heart of the brand.
The digital-first philosophy.
Exactly. It dictates that the website and devices have to be highly interactive, not just, responsive versions of analog content.
But dynamic systems with animations, intuitive navigation. The website is the main funnel.
Okay, so let's get into that journey. One of the goals is a self-guided experience that makes the user feel totally in control from that first click. How do they shepherd someone through that process without it feeling overwhelming?
It starts with some simple triage. The system uses these initial trigger questions.
Like, have you had a hearing test?
Exactly. Or are you primarily interested in customization? And based on what you already know, the journey branches immediately into these interactive tailored paths.
Can you give us an example of those paths?
Yeah, so path A is for the complete novice. I need information and an online test.
Okay.
Path B is for the informed user. I already have an audiogram, and I need to search for a device. And path C is for the confident buyer who says, I know what I want.
The ultimate goal is a full digital consultation that feels personal, seamless, and this seems key, without any sales pressure.
Without pressure. And the AI assistant is your constant companion on this journey. It's positioned as a guide for emotional and informative support.
But it's designed specifically not to replace the human audiologist.
That distinction is absolutely key. The functionality is robust, It manages voice-first dialogues, gives personalized recommendations. It even handles tedious admin support, like insurance paperwork.
But its most compelling function, I thought, was the virtual hearable simulation.
Yes.
Tell us a bit more about that. How does a virtual simulation even work for sound?
Well, the system likely has access to some preliminary hearing metrics, or maybe the user's self-reported environment. So the simulation lets you hear the differences between various device settings.
So I can test it in a simulated loud cafe or a quiet office.
Exactly. Before you even set foot in a store, it allows for this immediate, tangible understanding of the product's benefit.
That immediately connects the digital experience to a real-world emotional benefit.
It also seamlessly integrates content. The AI guides you through these integrated, entertaining educational resources like short explainer clips, reels, podcasts.
So you're learning about hearing health and tech while you shop.
Right. It fosters self-service and empowerment. It's a content strategy designed to build trust and community long before you even think about buying.
It's like they're building a content machine to serve the sales funnel, just constantly providing value. Now that brings us to what might be the most disruptive element of all, how the brand positions itself, and more importantly, the people who actually staff it. This fourth section is all about the lifestyle branding and the pretty unconventional team culture.
Yeah, the branding is the offensive move against stigma. They are actively positioning these devices as wearable style statements, as essential lifestyle tech.
And that requires a completely different visual language and marketing strategy. They explicitly avoid all the traditional clinical or senior cliches.
Absolutely. The marketing is social first, so clips, reels, podcasts, and it uses emotional storytelling. It features attractive modern people, typically in that 20 to 45 age range.
In vibrant urban settings.
Right. The visual style is clean, it's high-concept sci-fi meets medical design with this soft filmic light. They're working so hard to normalize these devices and just make them look cool.
Okay, so if the entire brand ethos is built on vibe and customer experience, that has to change who you hire.
It has to. And the sources detail this revolutionary team philosophy. It emphasizes vibe and passion over traditional academic credentials.
This is a fundamental strategic shift, especially for a field that's, medically adjacent. The criteria for leadership and the experience guys are astonishingly clear.
They are. A master's title or degree is optional.
But how can they possibly maintain medical trust and efficacy if they're explicitly deprioritizing clinical expertise in favor of brand enthusiasm? I mean, isn't that a massive risk?
That is the strategic pivot. The source material suggests they recognize that, technical expertise, calibration, audiology, that's all critical.
Of course.
But those functions can be centralized or outsourced or handled by specialized staff working behind the scenes. The key customer touch point, the experience guide on the retail floor, they must be a brand evangelist first.
So the frontline staff are not necessarily audiologists.
No.
They're expert product consultants and experience coaches.
Exactly. The focus is placed squarely on a digital-first mindset, on empathy, creativity, and a really deep understanding of the AQI brand. Their ability to coach the team in this aspirational vision is prioritized over decades of technical accreditation.
And innovation over tradition. It creates this open, inspiring recruiting approach that values talent, that just lives the brand philosophy.
It creates a culture where success is defined by customer experience, not by pure technical process. And according to the blueprint, this is the only way they can truly shake off the legacy stigma of the industry and become a tech company, not a medical supplier.
That is a fundamental shakeup, relying on culture to drive disruption. It's truly comprehensive. So, to summarize this deep dive, AQUI's blueprint for market disruption really rests on 4 revolutionary pillars.
Right.
First, that aspirational, Apple-like positioning targeting a younger demographic. Second, the futuristic store aesthetic that completely shuns the clinical environment.
Third, the self-guided, highly interactive digital and AI ecosystem for seamless service.
And finally, this bold team philosophy that prioritizes vibe and brand loyalty over traditional technical degrees for customer-facing roles.
And if we connect this strategic model back to the bigger picture, the sources suggest that the ultimate goal here isn't just to replace existing hearing aid companies.
No, it's bigger.
It's to enter the premium wearable tech space, to compete directly with high-end earpods or AirPods one day.
And that raises the most critical question about the market implications then. If this model succeeds, if it makes hearing devices a mainstream aspirational tech product, what happens to the established consumer electronics giants?
Exactly. Will companies like Apple or Samsung be forced to fully pivot and officially enter the regulated hearing health space, blurring the lines entirely between consumer electronics and medical devices?
It suggests the future of hearing devices might soon be dictated less by traditional audiology
And more by Silicon Valley designers and experienced architects.
The power of design and a fully cohesive digital strategy to completely reinvent even the most entrenched, complex, and stigmatized industries is just staggering. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Thank you.
And we encourage you to consider how many other necessary but unloved products are just ripe for this kind of aspirational repositioning.